Well, we talk about retirement, right? We've got a lot of retirees who relocate to the valley and moving into their golden years, right? But for so many, a lot of people are really struggling as the cost of, gosh, really almost everything is sky high right now. It's hard to afford a lot of things. And that's why our team is diving deeper into what is a startling trend. More senior citizens are going back to work just to make ends meet.
Half of all the baby boomers can't afford to retire anymore, and many are forced into the workforce late into their 70s and 80s just to pay the bills and to survive.
Record numbers of Americans are hitting retirement age in 2024. So each facing the anxiety-inducing question, do I have enough saved?
Yeah, that's a good question. Nearly 40% of households face a substandard of living in retirement. And as Jill Schlesinger reports, it's forcing some out of retirement and back to work.
But that is not the whole story.
This is certainly not part of Larry Gessick's retirement plan. The 77-year-old electrician by trade leaves at 5:30 a.m. and heads for his part-time job unloading trailers at a local supermarket in St. Petersburg, Florida, for $14.75 an hour. His wife, Joyce, 66, prepares for her workday, making $14 an hour as a full-time legal administrator.
Today, I'm going to share with you what is happening and what boomers are facing financially and emotionally, and what they are doing and what they are adapting to. Now, don't get me wrong, there are many boomers who have retired successfully, comfortably, and enjoying their lifestyle, enjoying their families, enjoying the travel, enjoying their health, and of course, enjoying the finances that they have saved up. So there are many boomers who are very comfortable, but there are many, many, many more that are struggling today. They cannot live on their own. They need external help. They need financial help from the government, from Social Security, from their friends and family. And the situation does not look good anymore. So the question is, why are so many boomers in this situation today? What led to it? Well, there's some simple facts. Let's look at it. 50% of all the boomers have less than $100,000 in their savings accounts. 25% of the boomers have nothing saved at all. The median retirement savings for 55 to 65-year-olds today is only $185,000. If we look at the age from 65 to 74 years old, the median retirement savings is $200,000. And as we get into the 75 years and older, that median drops to $130,000. According to AARP, it says that 1 in 5 Americans ages 50 plus have no retirement savings, and over half worry they will not have enough to last in retirement. Now, what happened was when the boomers were much younger, they did not have the knowledge or the transition of saving into retirement. The 401ks and the IRAs had just started, and most of today's boomers, when they were younger, were not aware of this, did not understand how the math works. But we know now that if you start saving early in your 20s, 30s, 40s, by the time you're 60, 70, 75, your nest egg grows by leaps and bounds. But that did not happen. But there are other reasons why boomers don't have enough money today. The report also shows that 40% of all older Americans rely solely on Social Security for retirement income. This is not a very good situation when more than 40% of the boomers rely on Social Security. The average check for a Social Security is around $1,700 to $1,800. And yet for boomers, it's much less because they started getting their checks way back. So the amount of check you're getting today, $1,500, $1,700, even $2,000, just may not even pay the rent in today's market. Not having enough income, and because of the skyrocketing prices of everything, including the homeowners who own their home for 20, 30, 40 years, they still have increasing cost when it comes to 3 things. One is that property taxes keep going up. Their home insurance keeps going up. There's obviously homes that are 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old homes now need maintenance. They may need a new roof, new HVAC, new kitchen appliances, and all these cost a lot of money. So when retirees or boomers have fixed income, low retirement savings accounts, they cannot afford to keep up with all these things.
We've definitely seen an uptick in the number of seniors that have reached out to us, which is kind of to be expected with the cost of living increasing and things like that. For a lot of seniors, the money they're getting from their retirement or Social Security is not quite enough.
The other key factor that is hitting boomers in a big way, hitting them directly into their pockets, into their savings account, is their healthcare and medical cost. It has skyrocketed beyond anyone's imagination, especially after the pandemic. Today, we know that the premiums are very high. 10% of all the healthcare cost goes into prescriptions. 43% of the cost goes to the Medicare Part A and Part B premiums that we have. And 47% are other medical expenses, co-payments, co-insurance, and deductibles for doctors and hospital visits, and they have skyrocketed. According to Fidelity, healthcare continues to be one of the largest expenses in retirement, and these expenses are skyrocketing. So when the boomers have fixed income and everything keeps going up, the math does not work at all. Rising out-of-pocket healthcare costs. Look at this chart. As you can see, the cost just comparing from 2015 to 2023, it has gone up significantly. What it boils down to is that our retirement savings is being depleted at a much faster rate than we expected, or what the boomers expected. When they were younger, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, they saved what they could. They were getting 3, 4, 5% on savings account. They did not invest in stocks or 401ks or IRAs because the knowledge was not there. It had just started 20, 30 years before they were into their workforce. So their savings was not enough, and the savings they have now is being depleted at a very, very rapid pace. Furthermore, what happened to these boomers 10, 15, 20 years ago? Back in the 2000s, there was the dot-com bubble, and in 2008, there was the 2008 bubble. So these two took away even what they had, and that's why a lot of boomers today are in this situation. So those two bubbles, the dot-com bubble and the real estate bubble, took a big hit on the current boomers. The other reason why boomers do not have as much money as we should have is because a lot of the boomers were supporting and supported their family who are in need of medically, financially, emotionally. They also helped their kids and had to pay from pocket for college expenses because a lot of the boomers did not save for those stocks and bonds that are specific for kids' college education. I know today there are a lot of funds out there where you save it for your kids' college. And back then, we did not have that, or they were not as common as they are today. So a lot of boomers have done the right thing. We should not feel bad about what we did. We did what we can, and we are surviving. Most didn't do anything wrong. Life changed faster than the financial situation changed on us.
Baby boomers are aging, and now there's an alarming new study about the so-called silver tsunami. It finds more and more people over the age of 50 are ending up homeless. KCAL's Jasmine Veal looks at why this is happening and shares some solutions.
Living on the streets.
8 years ago, I was on the streets,
8 years.
and I was on the streets for over 10.
Robert Morris remembers those days of living on the streets.
In Southern California and in all of USA, but a lot in Southern California, there is a big homelessness situation. And surprisingly, many of these homeless people are actually seniors. They're 50, 55, 65, and 70 because they are losing their homes, they're losing their families, they're losing their finances, and they're going out on the street. I was on my way to Disneyland yesterday with my wife, and on the way, I saw a lady. I would guess she was 60 years old. She was pulling a bag. Luckily, the bag had wheels. She had a purse on one arm. She had a blanket on the other arm. And she had a sign, a brown sign, said, "Homeless, please help." I felt so bad looking at that lady. I thought I could stop and help her. But we're not supposed to do that. There are so many homeless people, and some of these homeless people are unstable and they could attack, etc. So I just kept driving, but I feel really bad how I felt about that lady, especially her being a senior.
Well, I lived all over. I traveled with the buses.
He is now 73 years old and rents a room using his Social Security check. These days, he partners with the United Way to help the unhoused.
The inflation is throwing additional seniors out onto the streets right now. If a senior loses a spouse, there goes half of too much of their income.
So there are many reasons and many situations why boomers are having a hard time being able to afford to live today, being able to pay all the bills today and barely survive. They should be enjoying their kids, their family, the travel, the nature. But many boomers are never going to see this. And this is a very, very sad situation. Some had to sell their homes just to survive. Some drained all their savings. Some have moved with their kids by force to live with the kids and made their kids' life even tougher. Many lost their jobs in their 50s and 60s and could never come out of it. Once you hit 60, 65, statistics show that many employees do not want to hire elder people, and even if they hire them, they pay them less salary. So if a lot of people lost their jobs in 50s, 60s, it's very hard to recover and get the salary that they wanted. As I come across a lot of boomers who want to sell their homes, who have been there a long time, some of them are being forced to sell their homes. Some of them are downsizing because the cost of owning a bigger house or the house they've owned for a lot of years becomes very difficult to maintain. So they are downsizing. Many are moving with their relatives, with their kids, even with their grandkids. Another thing that a lot of boomers are doing, and we are seeing a new trend, is they are sharing homes. They're sharing homes with their family and their friends, or even with other people that they may not know.
Amplifies the numbers. So I have written extensively about a Golden Girls type housing arrangement where you have shared housing in single family housing, and you'd have shared home healthcare workers. You got to think of new strategies.
Some of the seniors are also looking at tax breaks, reducing their property taxes, looking for senior discounts anywhere they can. They're looking for Medicare expense cutbacks. They're looking for exemptions in their taxes. They're looking for nonprofits to help them out. And many nonprofits are there helping them out, not only just in providing food and shelter, but helping them training into things, online courses, AI courses. And a lot of these, after they learn the new things, they're getting jobs. They're even doing Uber drives and door dashing to have supplemental income. So there are a lot of things boomers are doing to survive, to add extra income so that they have a normal life back to where they were. Many, as I mentioned earlier, are working part-time. They may not be able to work full-time because of medical issues or taking care of their spouses or taking care of the family, but whenever they can, they are getting part-time jobs or even full-time jobs. And one of the most common things I'm seeing, because a lot of boomers call me and say, hey, Mike, do you know of any lender who can give us a cash out? And I refer them to home equity line of credit, where people pull out cash, and I always request them, or I always tell them, or I always recommend that pull only enough to survive. Don't pull out too much, because every time you pull out equity, you have to pay debt, and you're paying 8, 9, 10% interest rate on those home equity line of credit. A lot of the boomers may not have a lot of cash, may not have a lot of retirement, but they have a lot of equity. The issue with that is you have a lot of equity, but it has zero value. I'll give you my example. I've been in this house for 30 years and I have a lot of equity. Yes, but if I wanted to use the equity, it has no value until I sell it and get all the money in my hands. So if I have a low savings account or low retirement account or no cash flow, this house equity does not help me. Basically, not only boomers, but Americans today are house rich, but cash poor. These aren't recommendations. They're real examples of how people are navigating in this chapter of their life. Every boomer's story is different. Some are thriving, some are surviving, and some are just comfortable where they are. We benefit from understanding what's happening around us. We need to understand what's happening financially, socially, and emotionally to these boomers. So if we're in that situation, we can apply those situations for ourselves or somebody that we know, maybe a parent, maybe a brother, or maybe even adult kids that we have. Please share your comments so we can see what's happening, or let us know what situation you are in. And if you need any help, we can try to help as well. Your story matters. Whether you're retired, semi-retired, or working by choice or necessity, I'd love to hear what retirement feels like for you today. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Please share and comment below. And please watch this video. YouTube is highly recommending to you. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Patel. Please also subscribe.